Ladies and gentlemen, it is a very exciting day for me. I just had an interview at Bass Pro Shops. I am the newest fishing department salesman, and I cannot wait. I'm currently at Bass Pro Shops waiting to watch Noah Pescitelli from KickinTheirBASSTV speak. I actually just watched his truck pull in with his boat, so that's going to be interesting. So, we're going to go have some fun today.
So pretty much, how many of you guys have used the Fishhead spin? Any of you guys? You guys like it? Come on guys, you gotta be louder than that. You like it?
Yes, sir.
Come on, scream. You like it? There you go. But guys, this is my favorite bait. A lot of you guys know that if you watch my videos. I use it all the time. There's been many trips where I've caught 50 plus fish on it. Once you get on those schools of fish and just feel that they just tear it up. It's like every single cast. But pretty much how I like to work it, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys in the tank here. I got the hook cut off, by the way. Alright guys, so back to what I was saying. With the Fishhead spin, it's really a versatile bait. You can use it on the top, you can use it on the bottom, you can use it in the middle. But my favorite way is just to throw it out here and I'll let it sink all the way to the bottom. And the key to this bait, a lot of people are like, I don't catch many fish on it, I don't really know how to fish it, I don't get any bites on it, but once you really get it down, you gotta work it slow. That's the main part. I can see a fish looking at it right there. But you just drag it on the bottom. That's pretty much all you do. You're reeling it so slow, it's pretty much painful. And see, what people usually do is they'll throw it out there, and they'll throw it out there and let it sink, and they'll end up reeling it too fast. And when you're reeling it too fast, usually those fish aren't that active for it, and they won't bite. So the biggest key to it is you got to work it really slow. Definitely on the bottom, that's the best way in my opinion. But then again, you're going to have those days where the fish are going to be at the top of the water. You're going to have those days where the fish are at the middle range of the water. And that's what's really good about the Fishhead spin, is you can pretty much use the baits in any stage platform of the water, as in at the top, on the bottom, in the middle. So say someday they were in the middle of the water column, I would throw my bait out there, I would say we're in 20 foot, I would count it to like 5, maybe 10, and just start reeling it in the middle water. So that's really what's great about the Fishhead spin. You can do so many things with it. You can really target those fish no matter what they're doing. If they're fast that day, if they're slow that day, you can pretty much work it any way you want. You guys have any questions over it? One just ate me right there, that was pretty cool. Any questions? Wow, look at that. And also, another big key to the Fishhead spin is when you're fishing it and you get a bite, it's going to feel a little weird, it's just going to feel a little heavy, and every once in a while you'll feel like a little tick, it's just like something's ticking on your arm. And that's when the fish pretty much has it, and you'll just feel weight for the most part. And the biggest thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to hook set up. Because normally on any bait, you're wanting to hook set up. You're wanting to just jack that fish's jaw. But on the Fishhead spin, what you're going to want to do is just honestly sweep sideways like a crankbait, and just sweep sideways. That's all you got to do. As long as you put a little bit of pressure into it, you sweep sideways, that hook's going to automatically go into the side of the mouth. You're not going to have any problems with it. But if you hook set up, what it does is this bait turns sideways, and it's going to miss the fish's mouth. So when you hook set sideways, it's going to go right into the fish's mouth, and I guarantee you, if you get a bite and he actually has it in his mouth and you hook set sideways, you're going to get the fish no matter what, without a doubt. So going on to the trailers that I use on the Fishhead spin, right now I have a Reaction Innovations Little Dipper. It's just pretty much like a little paddle tail swim bait that I have on there. And this is a smaller size one. If I'm fishing for some bigger fish or they're really aggressive, I'll go with the bigger one. Or I want just like a bigger bite, then I'll use a bigger paddle tail. But then again, most of the time I just use the regular small one. It's just a really small little swim bait trailer that I use on it, and I pretty much use that all the time. But every once in a while, those fish are so finicky and they're not wanting to bite, and pretty much what I do is I put a regular fluke on. I know most of you guys probably know what a fluke is. And I'll put a fluke on here so it doesn't have the paddle tail on it. It just has a regular split tail, so it's not going to have as much movement, and therefore it's not going to spook the fish, and they're going to actually bite it even better, just depending on the day. But if you're wanting to put off a little bit of vibration, definitely go with the paddle tail. That's one of my favorites. So going on about working the fish head spin again, say they're at the top of the water column. There's been many times where I'm out in the lake and those fish are schooling on the top of the water. They're pushing the bait, they're pushing all the bait fish up to the surface, so you're trying to locate those fish. And there's been many times where I just throw into a big school of fish, and they literally be repetitive, like pass after pass. You're just catching them. So you can do so many different things with it. Really, you can target all the fish in all the water columns with the fish head spin. Do any of you guys have any questions about the fish head spin?
About what you're looking for right now in the wintertime when you're fishing for fish.
That's a good thing. Right now in the winter, it's really cold. I know a lot of you guys have been like, man, it's super cold outside. Fish are hard. They're really finicky. They're hard to catch. And I've been to some ponds lately and stuff, and they're just not biting well. They're just not really cooperating with everything. So one of the big keys on the lakes is a fish head spin. A lot of the times, going into the winter, the water's dropping, everything, those fish are getting down in those ditches. And if you guys don't know what a ditch is, you're pretty much going into a creek, and those fish are waiting in like a ditch. And sometimes they'll trap bait above them, sometimes there'll be bait down in it, there's going to be timber, there's going to be trees, there's going to be bait, which is going to be a lot of live action. And so this is pretty much my key bait if I'm fishing ditches in the winter. To catch those fish, I will just throw it out there and let it sink all the way onto the bottom and just reel it right through that ditch. And it's usually every single cast. If you get on them right, you're going to catch them all the time. It's a really great technique, especially for the winter if they're really slow. So going on about how slow I reel the bait, pretty much, if you guys can see it in the tank right there, it would normally be on the bottom, but I'm reeling it so slow. If you watch my hands, I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm reeling it so slow, it's almost painful. You know, I mean, it's hard to tell in this water because the tank's so small, but it will have movement, but you're reeling it so slow that you don't even think it's really doing anything, but that paddle tail and that spinner on it is going to be moving the whole time. It's going to attract those fish. It's going to be putting off the vibration and attract all those fish. But that's pretty much the biggest key for it, is because everyone comes up to me, they're like, I've never caught a fish on a fish head spin, you catch them all the time, what are you doing differently? The first thing I ask them is, are you working it too fast? Because that's pretty much one of the biggest things with the bait. You really got to work it slow. It's more of a slow bait. I put it in the category of like a jig and a worm, but I mean it can also go in the reaction bait category as well, pretty much because you can catch them on any stage of the water column. And if you guys are wanting to look for these, you can actually get them here. They change up the stores, so I don't know exactly where they're at right now, but they do have a little section where they have a lot of fish head spins. They also have some of it, is it right there? Right there? Right there. You guys can go check them out. And they have a few other baits. They have one called the Dude, and pretty much it just has a little lip on it and it gives off a lot of wobbling action. That's a great bait as well, but my favorite bait from them is definitely the fish head spin. Definitely go check it out if you guys haven't. And also, for all you guys that don't know me, I do a lot of YouTube videos and I have a lot of tutorials where I go in depth on what rod I use, what depth I use this in, and pretty much everything. I give you all the key tips about the fish head spin in some of those videos. I also have some action videos of me just catching a lot of fish on it. But I know you guys are probably wondering, what type of rod would you use for this bait? Pretty much you can use a heavy rod, but it's all pretty much personal preference. I like something with a little bit of tip. I want something that's going to bend a little bit more easier. It's not going to be as stiff. So I use around a medium heavy, and I get a fast action. And reel I usually use it on. It doesn't really matter too much. Like I said, pretty much personal preference. I use it on a 7:1-to-1 gear ratio reel. You can use it pretty much on whatever, as long as you're reeling it super slow. You can put it on a 5:1, which is very slow. and you need to be able to reel it a little bit faster if you can't stand reeling it that slow. And the line that I use on it is 15-pound fluorocarbon. That's pretty much what I go with, and I never have any problems breaking fish off or anything on the bait.